Consciousness is not a tool. It's not a tool for us to use to produce more or that we use for control. It's not a tool for us to use to control life or to get what we want. It's not a tool that we use to get to enlightenment. And I say this because it is so easy to fall into that trap of the ego. We want to detach. We want peace. We want wisdom. We want truth. We want freedom in our lived experience. But we're not tired from the situations that we're facing, the everyday ebbs and flows and changes of life. We're tired from trying to manage them. And because we are tired, we seek ways to relieve ourselves from it. There are so many hacks to become better spiritually, to deal with our emotions, but I realize that that becomes exhausting too. And just like we once desired material things, there is now a desire there to detach and to grow. Even the most spiritual thing can be driven by the ego. And you feel burned out because you're trying, but yet it feels like you're not getting anywhere. You're doing all of the things. Maybe you're meditating more. Maybe you're practicing stillness more. I realized that in my unbecoming, the ego still shows up in subtle ways. It doesn't always shows up loud or in an arrogant way. Now I recognize that it shows up in ways to make you feel safe. It shows up in ways to make you feel like you have arrived because you feel safe there. You feel safe when the thought process is, I am doing this the right way. This is what it's supposed to be. Our desire to awaken is true. Our desire to grow is true, but the ego is also there, and it's the master at disguising itself, is what I realize. It will take your pure desire to grow and just be and turn it into a method, into a strategic move on how to survive, on how to find peace, on how to be awakened. And it does this because the ego wants control. So it tells us if we make the effort, then we are in control. So we start looking for steps to detachment. But the most natural detachment happens naturally when there's no longer a need there. I don't know much about technology. I know a few things here and there, but I'm not tech savvy. But I know that if my computer is hacked, it hijacks the system, right? The ego tries to hijack us in the same way. The ego tries to hijack us in the same way. But consciousness is not a tool to fix. It is the awareness that we are exhausted from trying to fix, trying to control, trying to protect, trying to defend our way through life. And in many ways, that seems reasonable, but it's the ego feeding us this illusion that if we do it this way, then we are now safe in these things. But true consciousness points out the exhaustion of this. And so the ego will take consciousness, which is just pure silent awareness, and it will try to weaponize it into a tool that judges, a tool to control and to fix ourselves, to validate the mind, to validate its own thinking. But you cannot use awareness to build a better ego. Awareness exposes when the ego shows up. The moment you notice the ego is trying to hack you, that is awareness. You become conscious of it. So awareness isn't a tool we use to change our lives or make it better. It is the space in which your life is allowed to just happen. To just happen. This way you can just be. You're not trying to fix. You're not trying to control. So your experience naturally becomes better because you are aware. I realize that awareness is the light in the room. And that's what allows me to just simply be. And there's a natural, there's peace there already. I don't have to try to find peace or bring peace into my life. It's there. Awareness is a knowing without the mind getting involved. It's like you're seeing, but there's no eyes. Something in me pulls me back when the ego shows up. Something pulls me back when the ego shows up, even in the duality of things and moving every day. When you're moving in awareness, there's a spontaneity, just being present. But when the ego shows up, something in me pulls me back and it says, without words or without language, it just says, be still and know.